There we go. Hello and welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I am your host, Sidra Kennedy, and I want to talk to you about officer safety. Officer safety is something that has been used by police officers of any caliber, sheriff or deputy or whatnot, to give them carte blanche in harassing, beating, killing, murdering, manslaughter, doesn't matter, molestation. They've used it to get away with everything. And they'll say, well, how do I know that you're safe? I don't know what you have. I don't, how can you prove to me that you are a safe person? What was the main question? The one that really got to me, how do I know I shouldn't be afraid of you? I thought you should know. You got the gun and he's sitting in his damn car. But that's what's been used. Officer safety. Officers went into the situation. Now tell me if this don't sound familiar with everything that's ever happened. Officer goes into the situation. The situation seemed a bit dire. It was very uncertain. And then suddenly the suspect, even when there was no suspect, came at the officer. The officer had to use lethal round. It was a snap judgment. But the officers got out alive, and that's what's most important. It's always someone coming at the officer, even when they're running away and getting shot in the back 7 times and a gun planted on them, and the officer still gets away with it. But the officer says, get your wallet. That's an order. Person turns around to get the wallet. Officer says, stop reaching, shoots him in the leg. Why'd you shoot me? I don't know. Yeah, they were black people, but in all honesty, where was that officer's safety during Stop the Steal? Where was that? January 6th, where was officer safety then when a person, they always say it's a person. No, it was a crowd that chased this black officer up roughly 2 to 3 flights of stairs, and this officer was near the person, telling him to back off and things. Didn't have his gun drawn at all. Didn't have his hands on his gun at all. I mean, these people came from far and wide, from all over the United States of Northern America, just to come in and kill people. The idea was to kill people. You don't put a noose up to not kill. You don't get zip ties and handcuffs to not, detain, kidnap, and maybe kill, maybe execution style. They didn't have guns on them. No, they had other things. They were prepared enough for a belligerent, drunken mob on the spur of the moment. That's about as prepared as they were. The officers had guns. They could have had backup. They had, they were able to communicate with each other. They knew this was going to happen in advance. They knew that day was going to happen. So this officer got chased upstairs. Never fired a shot. There were 2 officers that was drugged down into a heap of people and then beaten, one to death. For sure, that is. We don't know about the other one. Officers stood, no weapons drawn, in front of a mob so large and angry that anyone, I know I would have put my gun and started shooting people in the head. They that pissed off. They're coming up there literally with noose and shouting for Trump and take the country back and shouting, yeah, we'll kill you if you get in the way. And no, I'm popping heads. I am getting in the door. I'm going to narrow the corridor so they have to come in little by little, and I'm popping heads. I am going to be 1 bullet per person. I am scared for my life at that moment. My job would be to protect the government, to protect the senators and congressmen and congresswomen and, all this other stuff. That's my job. It is to make sure that the walls aren't breached. The same breached walls that cops opened for the people to get in. Just think about that. No, there would have been some examples made. I might have been crying myself to sleep for about a week or 3 or a year or 2 or 5 out over the whole ordeal and having to take someone's life. But I'll tell you this right now. As the cops say, don't they say this? I'm going home to my family. Go home to your family at the end of the day. No matter what it takes, you go home to your family. Well, these are not people on the street. These are not officers on the beat. These are protectors of the United States government. They are the line. And speaking about the line, the last line of defense, all those every single one of those, government officials that are in charge and pass legislation that ruins our lives, take money from us, not give us stimulus money, allow cancer-causing toxins in all of our food and pesticides and in the air and the water. All of these people that have literally placed a threat on our lives, given so many loved ones cancer and that they have died from. These government officials have allowed this. And they're the biggest murderers on the planet being protected. The biggest murderers on the planet have to be protected by would-be murderers. Actually, they're all in on that. Every last one that was at that Stop the Steal is a murderer. Cop died, other people died. It's on them. It's on Trump. It's on the Republicans. It's on the capitulating Democrats. The antagonists and the enablers are at fault. The last line of defense, those doors got hammered. Those people were determined to break those doors down. Determined. At all costs, they were going to get in there, and they were just like a pack of wild animals. Rational thought left them. Mob mentality took over. Like if you ever watch a bully, and I've been in this situation, I've been the victim. When they see you and they start to come for you, when you run, they're going to chase. That's where they were. Their eyes, there was no humanity left in any of them. If we want to say humanity is being decent. No. What was in them was, I see this, I'm going to get it. They ran, I will chase. I will capture. I will conquer. No matter what it takes. I am with the mob. Everyone else is doing it. I'm doing it too. And when that woman popped her head through that window, that broken down window that the mob took probably 5 minutes of heavy battering to break open, she popped her head in and she got popped in the neck. That's what happened. That was the only time an officer drew his weapon. That was it. That was the only time an officer drew his weapon. Tactical shot. Boom, from behind. Dude was backing up down the stairs like, hey, I did my job. He was like, I'm done. They all knew what they were doing. All those cops at any given moment. You know what? Let me point this out. Every single one of them cops at that last line were the cops on the front line when the protests hit Washington, D.C. gates. They just got to the gates. They didn't try to climb over. They were just at the gates yelling. All those officers stood there on the ground with their weapons drawn and ready to fire. If you try to come through the gate, you're getting shot. Try to come over the gate, you're getting shot. If we think you got a weapon, you're getting shot. They had weapons ready and drawn to kill people who were basically out there saying, stop killing us. while those that went up there that was willing to kill everyone got a free pass. The cops don't need to be simply looking for these people and arresting them and putting them in prison for a few months to maybe a year because, white protects white. No, there needs to be a federal, not even investigation, a federal roundup of every single one of those officers that did not treat those people like they were black people. That's what needs to happen. They need to criminalize, imprison, run the gamut, throw the book, the gavel, and maybe a bench at the ones that told these officers, via reported by Ring of Fire, to stand down, stay home, and don't come in on this day. There's a lot from the bottom up. And just to be honest with you, like I said before, I wouldn't have cared if they got in and got to the senators and whatnot. It didn't matter. You got one murderous group attacking another murderous group. Does it really matter? Because that congressman, you said, well, that'll be a takedown to the government. No, they're not the government. The ones that pay them, those big donors, they are the government. They are. We vote them in, and the others pay them and tell them what to do. You go to work, you earn that paycheck, you do what you're told to do. Just like those Congress, they go to work, and while they make money, a lot of money, off of our tax dollars, those big donors, they pay them roughly the same amount, sometimes twice, and they get what they want, and we get nothing. We get cancer-causing agents in our food, in our water, growth hormones in all of our food, deregulation of everything, so plumping and puffing is allowed for food products. The fresh, organic green beans you think you are eating safely are full of these cancer-causing agents. It's in wine, beer. We've got flammable water, and they blame the black people. I don't care for neither one of them. I want, and I desire justice. I want satisfaction. I don't want so much a blame game. I want it done. That's me. Get it done. Round every capitulating being up, put them in prison, fine, sue, whatever it takes. That's what I want. Lose their job, lose their privilege, lose their status, all of that. That's what needs to happen. Tell me what you think. I'm curious. This has been Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.